Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, February the 15th, 2023. And if you're feeling like you haven't seen me in a few days, that's the case because yes, just been busy. And there's also, this is a time where there's a lot of repetition. In by this time, when you've gone through the lectionary for coming up on 3 years, like 3 year anniversary of this is March 23rd. Uh, there's a lot of repetition. Let's just say that in the texts, and so covered a lot of ground. And that's one of the reasons why I've been posting a lot of like throwbacks. But I've also been like my schedule has been messed up, so I thought rather than worry about finding like trying to come up with new stuff and worrying about like posting the throwback videos because that almost takes as long to get all that out. I just didn't worry about it because we have like 700 and some odd episodes of this on YouTube. So yeah, you got lots of good options for your daily devotional life. But anyway, today, and like today's text is along those same lines, which is Matthew 19, 1 through 12. By the way, today's daily Bible readings are Psalm 119, 9 through 16, Proverbs 2, 1 through 15, and then Matthew 19, 1 through 12. And actually, that's like the Psalm, like the daily lectionary has been making its way through Psalm 119 because Psalm 119 is huge. So that's so why I didn't do anything Monday because I've been doing Malcolm Geit's David's Crown, like cycle of sonnets for the Psalms, and we've done Psalm 119 a couple times. So, and like I said, today's text is one that shows up pretty frequently, and it's about divorce, and it's about the Pharisees cornering Jesus and asking him about divorce. And it's an uncomfortable text for a lot of people, and an uncomfortable text. A lot of people don't like to preach on it because then, as and now, divorce was a reality. Although it's probably much more of a reality now, but it sounds like it was a pretty good reality back then too. And that's the deal. Divorce is real. And as our people, and the divorced people are real, and people's problems that lead up to it are real. And so that's why I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable to deal with this text. But beyond that, I think that's one of the problems going on in this text is like the Pharisees are not concerned about how difficult divorce is really, or how difficult like the problems are that lead people to that situation are. They're really not about relieving the burdens of people when it comes to that. Um, they're not worried about relieving the burdens which lead to the point of divorce, right? They're not interested in helping people. They're about using a real issue that affects real people in a very real way to basically roast Jesus. They want to set him up to say something because it's an uncomfortable text. It's an uncomfortable issue. It makes people uncomfortable, and they want to put Jesus into the situation of making people uncomfortable. But that's we can talk about that, and I think I have talked about that, but that's not what actually catches my attention today, because Jesus doesn't shy away from it. He says what he says. He says it, and people are like, "What?" And he goes, "You heard what I said. I said what I said." But what really catches me off guard here are the disciples' reactions to Jesus's response to the Pharisees. Because he says, like, no, you shouldn't divorce unless it's just like this horrible infidelity. And they're like, the Pharisees are like, well, why did Moses tell us to? And he's like, no, Moses didn't tell you to. It's not like you have to. Moses allowed you to because you guys are such jerks. It's the Keith translation. Um, but so he says this, and the disciples' response is, huh, well, if that's the case, it's just better to not get married at all. And um, I'm sorry, what? So Jesus asks you to be faithful to your spouse, to keep the covenant you made with your spouse, and your response is sorry. I just have to choose singleness, right? That's um, I feel like they were trying to be funny, perhaps, or thought they were being funny. But Jesus's response to them when they're like, oh gosh, if that's the case, you might as well just be single. Jesus's response is, go for it. What a bunch of knuckleheads. Anyway, that's the DVR for today. Get out. Enjoy the day. We'll talk to you later. Boop.